Stop it. Doing to me. Doing to me. So this Florida professor needs to stop it too. It says Florida professor sues his university for firing him after comparing Asians to African Americans. Let's see where he was going with this one.
Must be
Oh, they got.
nice to get
Oh,
fired.
look. Oh, look at this. They got a one bullet point. This is interesting. It says before you read, Florida psychologist professor says racism wouldn't exist if blacks behave more like Asians.
Must be nice to be able to sue somebody for losing your job, like many of Black Americans on a daily basis.
Right. The associated psychology professor for the University of Central Florida is launching a lawsuit against his university for firing him last year over a Twitter rant in which he compared Asians to African Americans and proclaimed white America is are under a siege. In the lawsuit, Charles Negay, who has since been reinstated, accused the University Board of Trustees of violating the First and Fourth Amendment. The lawsuit also accuses the board of negligence, abuse, and processing of intentional inflict of severe emotional distress, according to the reports. Negay's attorney, Samantha Harris, filed a lawsuit in the middle of the school district of Florida on Thursday, noting that the complaint that his tweet made him a target of protests at the university and in front of his home. Forbidden by the First Amendment to express fire him for his tweets, UFC administrators publicly solicited people to come forward with complaints of discrimination and harassment against Professor Niggy, and they launched a malicious pretextual investigation into the second aspect of his 22-year career at the university. In a statement to Fox News, Harry accused UFC of treating the professor less than human when the
I know
institution
you
decided.
ain't talking all while you making less than humane comments.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I'm the irony in this is flabbergasting, but
Good old Dub S.
right, both sides here. It says when the institute they treated him less than human when when he decided to punish him for his protected tweets. Their treatment of him, I think, really speaks to a broader trend on how we dehumanize people we disagree with, while they're simultaneously dehumanizing somebody. Come on,
Wow. Wow.
right? It says we don't only say, "Oh, I think they're wrong," or even, "Wow, I really don't like what they have to say." We say, "You know what? They're no longer a person to me, and what happened to them doesn't matter." And I think that's really evident of University of Central Florida's treatment of Charles Nagy. Listen, and by the way, they didn't spell his name a couple different times. This time they spelled it Nagy. Up there, they spelled it Negyy. They don't know how they want to spell this guy's name.
Hold
Just for
on.
the record.
Is he Asian? Nagy?
Yeah, Nagy sparked controversy in the deleted tweet in June 2020 when he asked if systematic racism would only exist if black people behave more like Asians. And this is what the tweet said. If African Americans as a group had the same behavioral profile as Asian Americans on average, performance, the best of academics, the best highest income, committed the lowest crimes, etc., would we still be proclaiming systematic racism exists? He's a white supremacist.
But hold on. Apparently, yeah, because you just said the list of everything Asians got, and they just got a crime bill. So apparently, yeah, apparently they're being attacked and targeted all over the great United States. So apparently, yes.
And apparently, by themselves too, with a bunch of Asian on Asian crime too. So yeah.
Hello.
And the
And
subsequent
Nagy is a
Nagy.
Hungarian last name, meaning
Oh.
great.
Mm. In a subsequent tweet, Nagy proclaimed black privilege is real. Besides affirmative action, special scholarships, and other set asides, being shielded from legitimate criticism is a privilege. But as a group, they're missing out on much needed feedback.
Hold
What?
on. Are you talking about the privilege of you getting your job back after being fired? Are you talking about that? Are you talking about the privilege of not only getting your job back, but now suing said employer?
Right. In his book, oh, here we go. In his book, White Shaming, Bullying Based on Prejudice, Virtue, Signaling, and Ignorance, Nagy argues that white Americans and white culture frequently are under siege for a host of transgressions. This snowflake season, he sounds like a
Man,
timid little Timmy who,
mayalistic mayhem.
yeah, that's another show. In the complaint, Harrison wrote that Nagy, a professor at UFC for 22 years, was never notified. Nothing that the university collective bargaining agreement requires tenure faculty members to receive a 6 months notification before their termination. Nagy was tenured at the university for 18 years. After being fired in January 2021, Harris said Nagy was forced to sell his home and move in with relatives as he was assumed to take care of his mentally disabled brother he took care of. He wrote the complaint that he suffered from emotional distress
From being fired?
for nearly 2 years after his termination. Get your
For
ass up
being
and go get
fired?
a job. Get your what? But I thought you was a model citizen though. Oh no, but he white though, right?
For being fired?
But he white though.
He is.
Fam, then you just sat around for 2 years. It wasn't like you could have just went and got back in the workforce
Period.
willingly. He was just a
You you were a tenured professor. No, what it is you suck at your job.
mm,
You're horrible, and the
mm.
only reason why you get to stay around Florida is because you're tenured, and they've
Nagy
been
was
looking
eventually
for a reason to get you out of there.
he was eventually reinstated in May 2022 after an arbitrator demanded that the university return his position back with back pay and benefits, as the arbitrator found that the termination had been without cause.
Why can't you niggers act more like these Asians over here? And if you did, would you still think you have the problems you have?
Man, I ain't trying to hear that crap. That's crap.
Obviously, but his statement in his logic is flawed, as I pointed out, that the Asians are supposedly going through it, suffering from the most racism they've ever had in their whole lives, to the point where they
Right,
have to get bare arms and they're killing themselves. That's how
right,
bad the racism is, right? But
right.
then you're like, oh, if you blacks would just be like the Asians, we're not killing ourselves. We've been experiencing this for over 400 years, and we ain't out here killing ourselves. We ain't boo-hooing. We done been kicked off a job before and fired, and we're not boo-hooing, and we didn't have PTSD and
And we ain't go
whoopty
back and shoot
fam.
it up.
Come on, P, get out of here.
We ain't
You
go
young
back
and
to the job and
fragile.
shoot it up.
Fragile.
Yeah, man. Yeah, snowflake behavior for sure. But they always need something to rail and cry about, though. I'm not really surprised. And
Period.
listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Let me know what y'all think about that. Do you think that black people need to act more like Asians? Is that
All while
something
they're
that you
trying to
think?
act more like black people. That's crazy.
Getting them little curlers to get fades, and did you see that? Did you see that?
I've seen all kind of them, P. I done seen a lot now ever since you done mentioned it.
Yeah, they going through the most just to get brush fades, fam.
I seen Cuz
Anyway,
wasn't even bald and Cuz put the mat on his head so it could be longer so he could do the dreads, P. Hold on. The Dollar Tree sells extension dreads, P.
The Dollar Tree.
You can buy one dread extension for $1.25. Look, Cuz was silent. He had to let that. He had to let that sink in.
What's the domestic going on downstairs, cuz?
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry to be all nosy and shit, y'all. But
Hey, hey. If they Mexican, you better call ICE.
it's a lot of door slamming and a lot of arguing. Hope they all right. You know, it's a homeboy down there with his little snow queen.
Uh,
Matter of fact, I got video of when they first moved in. She was clowning them all outside, all loud, talking about how what he need to get a job and this, that, and the other. And he stayed. He been there. He been rocking and rolling since. I mean, this is inevitable. I knew this was gonna happen because
did he
she
get
had
a
a mouth on
job?
her. Yeah, she had a mouth on her, buddy. And they got like about like 3, 4 kids. You know what I'm saying?
So she been talking to him bad.
Spicy. So he's bamming on shit. Get out.
Now,
Oh
the one question: is she fat?
no.
What?
Now
Okay.
she's not.
Question
She's
number
not.
two: is
She's
she
not
Anoka worthy?
Anoka worthy.
Is she Trailer Park Anoka worthy?
Yeah, Northeast.
Okay, see, I knew it was one of the two. Either you fat or you're
Well.
an
She's no
Anoka
Winnie
reject.
Cooper,
Okay.
but I suspect the police will be here shortly.
What?
They going in right now.
I
KIPP
can't even
exclusive.
hear it, P.
I know you can't. I'm just sitting here tripping. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I hope he got out of Dodge. If he's smart, he got out of Dodge. You don't never argue and stay. You're supposed to get on up
Did
out
it
of there.
sound like anybody got a two-piece?
I just heard a bunch of yelling. He might not be
But
that
but
stupid.
nobody ragdolled around the apartment with the boop 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 boop.
I hear the
Ah!
I hear the bang bang bangs on the doors and the big yelling. It's
And you
simmered
know what
down now.
the one thing I hate about that is the kids having to be involved in that mess, P. And then she
Well,
gonna be
hopefully
bad
they at
mouthing
school right now.
cuz. Oh, okay.
They at school right now.
All right,
So
I
that's
didn't
good.
know if it was spring break.
Um, actually, I don't even know.
See? Could be spring break, P. My kids is out on spring break right now.
I don't even know. But
We ain't gonna
keep
hold
y'all
you.
keep y'all affairs together, man. Y'all don't want that to be happening to you now.
Especially when you involved with the others.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that's truly indeed the case. Love, peace, blessings, and aloha.